In 2012, I was going to Sjælland, which is near in the area of Copenhagen, right? And I was getting a job nearby a dealer of Ferraris, probably the only one in Denmark. And in that horse stable were some horses I looked after, and they were building up, I think, a riding school or something. And in the house where I was supposed to live, there came a couple, very young couple, very neglected young people. And it was a boy and a girl, and they had been in trouble. And the young man was blonde and curly, and he looked neglected, and so did the girl. And they were together in this kind of neglectedness, and they were housing in the same house because the mother of the boy was a social worker, and she knew the riding school lady, and that's why the rent for the two until they get their own home or something. But they were barely making it. I thought like they were. It's seldom I have seen young people that neglected. um, and they were nervous, and they had been in trouble and so on, and they were it was not very nice, and it showed up that some of the horses had like sprayed on their legs, which can mean they were not fit for fight, and so when I began to talk about that I had this police charge against the social workers in Esbjerg and so on, and I also maybe said, you know, the rent were pretty high, and the job was you were always, at the place, and I think actually that it turned out that she kind of knew that I was not 16, and I would probably ask questions. Um, so I went away there from, and I went to Billund, and I actually came across. I'm always looking a lot of missing person pictures just to remind I could meet them, and I've been locating two missing USA Jersey handicapped boys in Rive, so I'm not unfamiliar identified cold cases. And I wonder if that could have been Sandy, the one of the young neglected man. But there's another person, a bit the same, blonde, neglected, that I met in Scan, which were a young man that was going to a farming job, and he was very interested in the farming job, and he was actually also, he's his apartment become like a garbage bin kind of thing, right? And I thought like I was wondering, this is another person probably, right? But in the same way, you could say. And I was up in his apartment, and it looked like, I don't know, there was garbage everywhere. And I said, listen, I have time. I can, if you pay me, I'll clean for you. I love to clean. I have, because I'm a farmer, you do it all the time. So basically, but he was not, I have to fix it myself, he said. And he tried, right? The weird thing about this was that he was having some parents or custody or whatever, but they came in a major, almost like a government car, like the president car or something. It was a big, big kind of off-road thing, the biggest I ever seen in this area, right? And I thought like, Jesus Christ, the sheriff's arriving, right? Or is he a representative kids or what? The weird thing was that they drove in, and they had a bike for him that was like dangerous. There was like no, it was not a new bike at all. It was like a ghost bike. And I thought like, this is madness. that he was supposed to bike on this old ghost bike, and they were driving in a, like a limousine. And I just, what the fuck is going on here? So I figured that maybe it was a sort of punishment of him, or was he kind of getting a kick out in the wrong way or whatever. I didn't know anything about the things going on, but I just were wondering if he had, and he said something about his sister. I don't know what it was, but anyway, around New Year, it was really funny because he and his friend, they had bought like massive amount of fireworks, and I'm a veteran and I don't like it. My dogs, they are better with fireworks than I am. So actually I went up to and asked, could you wait to fire up your fireworks to 9 o'clock? Because then I can go down in the cellar. They had a cellar with a sauna and stuff like that. So I thought like, yeah, what the fuck? I'm staying in the cellar from 9 o'clock to 12 and 1 o'clock and so on. And he was very nice saying, yeah, that's fine. Um, and everything was just weird about this young man, and also because, again, the the person I met in Sjælland with the girlfriend, another man, right, same type, blonde curly hair, little skinny, explored, right, neglected. The thing I realize when I meet young people that's been neglected, explored, right, is that they have a way to address people that make you uncomfortable. You know, it they kind of easy level with you or connect. They connect to me in for me an uncomfortable way, but also sometimes if you are on your off your guard, so if you are not aware of it, you get kind of taken by this kind of it's a sort of thing I know from maybe boarding school where you sort of back yourself up by connecting. So, for example, if I'm in a room and there's another person been on a boarding school, I will immediately connect and be almost like a friend or even a little more than that. So basically, that's the same method that some of these neglected kids use to try and find out if they can trust you. And for example, if I abuse that, kind of bonding, they would be clear that this is an abuser. So it's very important when you kind of meet neglected kids that this bonding is not what you think it is. It's something else. It's a kind of testing, what type are you? Would I kind of address him back like, oh, we're bonding, should we, even there was a, maybe not a gap, but whatever. So that's the reason why they often maybe get in trouble again, even if they're not, I don't know if these two young men, if one of them were missing. The neglect tells a little bit about that they really didn't come in the center of the family, right? They weren't really, they were not real theirs, But it can also happen in like family with divorce or alcohol problems or something like that. But I was looking at the Sandy cases in that case where I was living in a house in Sjælland. It's around 2012, and in some months, the Danish authority have my CPA address on that address. They will be able to find it because I don't want to tell too much about where it was because I don't know if I'm right. So basically, the problem is that if I had had a decent, honestly, trustworthy contact to the police, we could have checked this up in 2012. We could have checked it up today, but I don't have it. And I think that one of the problems in South Denmark and also mainly all Denmark is that there is no police. The police is, I went to police in Ribe about the two missing Jersey kids. No response. I was attacked by a madman, maybe a T word, right? And I was addressing serious neglect of sheep. I was addressing hacking. They didn't want to write a report. So there is no cooperation. There's no whatever trust to the police. And in the newspaper, they always, well, we were there and we were finding the man and we were arresting. But often they play a role in some kind of way getting people arrested in a negative way. The only clear thing I can say that some of the police working with arrest of cars and stuff are more straight than the rest of it, but still they're involved in something that's not good. So about the Sandy case, I'm still looking out for him, and I'm always having him somehow, for somebody young neglected man on Sjælland, right, in Denmark, and also the one in Skjern. I'm always looking out for who could this be. Also because there is some pictures of VIPs, right? And I recently found out that they actually have stand-ins. There are some of the actors, and even higher than that, who are actually, you could say, photo modeling for, they're actually, you could say, royalty stand-in, right? Means that they don't play a role in having the opportunities or the network. They are just like the photo shoot, right? Not that these two, I don't know, but I think I have known some young men on this kind of pattern, right? They were like stand-in, right?